My name's Sam.
You can call me Wagaloobadom.
Where'd you get a name like that?
I didn't say it was my name. I just said you could call me that, if you want to.
Oh, thanks.
Alright, so this review might call for a bit of an explanation. Right now I'm currently being overwhelmed by things in my life such as school, family, and other issues that I'd much rather not talk about, and I've hardly had the time to work on a proper review. So amongst the crap that I've had to work through in terms of school and my daily life, I figured that there had to be some way that I could integrate my learning into my videos. Some way my education can shine through to really show people what I'm learning. Educational video. Oh god, what am I doing? More specifically, Pajama Sam and No Need to Hide When It's Dark Outside. This game was initially released by Humongous Entertainment on October 9th of 1996. If you thought I wouldn't touch on games older than 14 years, you are clearly mistaken. Humongous Entertainment has made plenty of point-and-click adventure games for children. These include titles such as Spy Fox, Freddi Fish, and even Putt-Putt. Though out of my previous experiences with Humongous Entertainment, I have never actually touched any of the Pajama Sam titles, which was unfortunate as I hear they were some of the best. This game better not disappoint. Well, I can't really be mad if it does, it's an educational game. If it's bad, it's not necessarily wrong. I'm looking too deep into this, let's dive into the review. You play as a young lad named Sam, and he wears pajamas. The game starts off with Sam narrating over one of his favorite comics, Pajama Man, a crime-fighting superhero who kicks ass in his pajamas. Right as he finishes reading the comic, however, his mother comes into the room and tells him that it's time for bed, and that this was going to be the first night where he sleeps with the lights off. Something I could immediately relate to, because the dark can be scary. Being the first night sleeping without the lights on, naturally Sam would be a bit intimidated. So what does one do to settle with their fear of the dark? Trap it in a lunchbox! Of course! Jumping out of bed, our hero leaps into action. Grabbing his mask, flashlight, and lunchbox, he takes up his superhero persona, Pajama Sam! This is probably where the game really takes off for me, because it's a kid and his imagination trying to conquer his fear of the dark. I find it to be very cute. Having acquired his things, he enters the closet to fall down the rabbit hole and transition us into the land of darkness. Humongous Entertainment has had an act of making some pretty imaginative worlds in their games. Pajama Sam might be one of the best examples of this. The land of darkness is the perception of Sam's home through his imagination. This leads to some very interesting level design. Everything from his bedroom, the kitchen, what seems to be an art room, and even his music room are all flowing with the inner workings of Sam's mind. I've always been the type of person who praises a game for putting a lot of emphasis on its aesthetic. Little things like meshing worlds together seamlessly to make environments otherwise feel familiar and whimsical. It's just charming to see things like this, and it really is a joy to explore. After walking about 10 feet in this new uncharted land, Sam falls into a trap that was set up by the trees. Okay, just as a little side note, I know that there's a lot of things here that might have been influenced by Alice in Wonderland. Falling into its closet, talking trees, unknown territory, it all screams Walt Disney's Alice in Wonderland. It's very welcomed with what the game wants to portray, but I digress. Anyways, the jerk trees take your stuff and scatter it all across the land of darkness. Somehow. So before you can venture into Darkness's house, you must first find your stuff. Again. With the basic story out of the way, we can finally talk about the gameplay. Well, as you could probably tell by now, this game is a point-and-click adventure game, where you do just that. You point, and you click. I really don't know how to describe the gameplay of point-and-click titles properly, especially in the case of educational titles from Humongous where everything you press on does something. Yet, most of the time you'll find only a few set things that you can interact with for the sake of the game's puzzle elements. The puzzles consist of simple things such as explaining to a boat that wood floats, teaching children that oil helps with rust, and describing the uses of certain tools. That being said, you carry items from your inventory that otherwise help you in your goal to find your things. Showing certain objects to characters will allow other game sequences to be opened at the right time. It's very simple stuff, and anyone should be able to figure it out easily. That being said, I do have a bit of criticism about the game. Not entirely sure how I'm supposed to tackle this and not sound dumb, so please realize that I'm not the smartest person ever. During my playthrough of Pajama Sam, I was actually lost on a certain segment. Most specifically, the portion where I had to find a magnet that is located within Darkness's house. This part tripped me up for a good hour, and I actually wasn't able to do it on my own, though I don't honestly think it was entirely my fault either. It was simply the design of one of the rooms in the game, where it wasn't distinctly obvious that there was a room directly opposite of it. This actually had me stuck for an hour or so after a bit of snooping online, I found out that I wasn't the only one. Might seem very minuscule, but if you're giving this game to children, things need to be clear to the children. If I was stuck on it, I'm pretty sure a child would get stuck on it too. Or maybe I'm just stupid. That's always a possibility. Besides that, this game is actually tons of fun to play through. While going through it, you meet some very memorable characters, have fun with the puzzles, enjoy a musical number or two, and to top it all off, you conquer your fear of the darkness. The game also happens to have a bit of replay value, as restarting the game may also cause the item to reset once you enter the Land of Darkness. I was honestly surprised when I saw this, and it's really nice to have a reason to come back to it besides collecting all the socks to see what happens. I would say that this game is worth picking up if you haven't already. If you're a parent and have a child, or perhaps have a younger sibling, you might very well want to pick up this game. It's very well oriented and isn't too confusing for children. It should offer a few hours of play and keep anyone moderately entertained. Very fortunately, you can purchase most of the Humongous game title through Steam at a moderate price, and I would say that it's very well worth it. Humongous Entertainment has made plenty of educational games, all of them with their own unique characters and style. And maybe one day, I'll visit another Humongous title. I just reviewed an educational video game. Fear me. Thank you all for making it to the end of my shitty video. If you enjoyed the video, you can always leave a like. It helps me know I'm doing my job semi-correctly. And if you would like to stay updated on when my next upload is, you can always subscribe. That button works wonders, it does. You could also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. Links down in the description. And until my next review, you can always just sit back and watch some of my older vids. That'll be fun. Right?